Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy here, for Nerds by Nerds. Today we're going to be discussing wizards and their arcane might. I'm hanging out with some of my esteemed colleagues.
Ryan.
Ted.
Nate.
So, wizards.
They
have I think the second most number of choices as far as archetypes or paths.
Just because all the schools, but I mean the schools have been in there since I can remember, so they had to be there.
They had to be there.
They absolutely had to be there, and they get to make their choice at first level.
Yes.
Is it first or second?
Oh, second. We'll screw you
Second.
guys.
And second level.
You got me more excited about that. I was like, oh, it was really first? I must have misread that.
Yeah.
I guess it's the cleric.
Clerics
Cleric,
get their domain at first level.
All right, I retract that statement. Then we're just gonna edit that out. Actually, not at all. So yeah.
So wizards, do they hold up in 5th edition?
Well, so far I'm playing a wizard sort of, and I'm enjoying it.
You got your evocator in my game, or evocator fighter.
Yes, my dwarven mage, and it was fun to start off as a mage or a wizard and be able to smack things with an axe and wear armor and cast magic missile. I didn't really cast magic missile.
Yeah, but I mean, the sheer versatility of wizards nowadays is pretty awesome. It in some ways a little better than the 3rd edition wizard in just your availability of spells, but you get less of them per day. So,
Yeah, but ritual
yes.
cast.
Yeah, but you can ritual
So you don't have
cast
to deal
some
with,
things.
I just memorized detect magic and identify. And
Well-
here's a monster.
At
Yeah.
20th level, though, you've got 3 spells you can. Is it 2? No, I guess it's 2 spells, or is it 3 that you can cast at will, for, 1st through 3rd.
At 20th level, though.
At 20th level. At 18th level, I think you get 2.
Yeah.
First and second level spells, and then at 20th level you get the 3rd level spell.
We don't play until 20th level ever.
That's gonna happen.
It's never.
That's
Hopefully,
gonna happen.
hopefully
It's
it
gonna happen.
happens.
We're gonna start at 19th.
Yeah, right. Then we can
Yes.
totally.
Like, we've made it all the way to 20.
Then we find the go up a level card that gives us the winning level.
Yeah.
So there we are. Yeah.
So that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Granted, you have to be really high level to get those, but then at that point, you really are like an archmage, just busting it out. And honestly, the exciting thing to me is shield at will.
Shield would be awesome.
It would be. It'd just be like, I just never have a reaction. Okay,
Yeah.
my reaction is shield.
Yeah.
Shield to the face.
Yeah.
I find a duck in the dungeon, shield.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
It looks menacing at you, almost like an attack.
And
Shield.
I looking through the 1st level spells, I honestly think that's the best possible option. It's 5 to your armor class, or is it 4?
5.
Just
5 and immunity to magic missile.
Yeah.
That's good, but maybe if you had an airship, magic missile would be really awesome. You're like, choop, 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 choop.
The Gatling gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing
No,
is,
my fingers started pointing.
the
Now,
thing
is
is, your at will spells are at the lowest level.
right.
Yeah. So you.
So-
Yes.
The baseline. So like something like a shield is always going to be what a shield
It's
is.
almost
so-
5.
This
Yeah.
is true.
So you couldn't say you couldn't use your 2nd level slot as an elevated magic missile.
No, I think you could, because it just calls out a 2nd level. Maybe not. I would allow it in my game anyway. If you want to give up, it's only another 2 to 5 anyway.
Yeah.
At that point, you can disintegrate shit and wish things out of existence. And I don't think that 2 to 5 is gonna break the game.
Yeah. Well, and I mean another thing to talk to what significantly powers up wizards is with always having access to cantrips that scale. You pretty much never have to touch an actual weapon. You never have to sully your hands with a real weapon,
With a dagger.
or a crossbow. Like the 2nd level or the 2nd edition wizard, like you resorted to the heavier light crossbow real quick.
Yeah.
You were out.
One round.
Well, 2nd level, use darts and thrown daggers, probably.
Yeah, in 2nd edition.
You have no access to crossbows.
Yeah, and you had like 1 spell back
Yeah,
then.
you're like, darts, I get multiple attacks. Yeah.
It's actually better than the spells you can cast at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is nice starting off as a person who, your whole profession is summoning arcane energies, so you can actually use
them.
But not only that, I guess one of my favorite things they ported over from 4th edition is
Don't say that word. They don't like it when you say that word.
some people like that
It's a
word.
curse. We'll bleep that out. We're gonna bleep that out.
SR2 Joker built his channel on 4th edition, so
Yeah.
so screw you guys.
I didn't play 4th, but I'm not gonna hate on it. I actually
Ritual
played
casting. Ritual casting
Yes.
came from 4th edition. I love ritual casting.
Well, wasn't the at wills a 4th edition term?
But that was a power, and everybody could do it. It wasn't exclusive.
Well, I
to
mean,
casters.
the cantrips are the at-wills of
Well,
this
I mean, the
edition.
fighter
Yeah.
always had the at will swing his sword ability,
Yeah.
so
Although, I mean, he could do it
Yeah,
a little
I mean,
differently. in
all of us
fourth.
have seen or played the 2nd edition wizard. At first level, it's like, okay, I cast my 3 spells and then I'm done for the day.
Then I pull my dagger and cower behind whatever I can.
Well, I mean, even pre Pathfinder, 3rd edition was pretty much like that because your cantrips were super weak and stuff. But then Pathfinder built in some sort of school-related abilities
Yeah.
that gave you some sort of baseline weak attack, but do something again to not have to resort to like a
But I mean,
crossbow.
it was still it
A
wasn't
number of times a day.
Yeah,
it was still
yeah.
a number of times.
Yeah, but it was going off of your power stat, which is easily going to be an 18 to 20 because
It's
This is
it's
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder. That's how that rolls.
But I mean, it was still a limitation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 4th and later that you really have that at will that no matter what's going on, your wizard can always throw back.
Well, we're not even talking 4th and later because I mean Pathfinder was pretty concurrent with 4th edition.
Okay.
Like
Well,
it came out like a couple of months after after 4th edition was on the market, really.
But now we're talking 5th edition, so you can cast Firebolt literally until you pass out from exhaustion. That's a lot of firebolts.
Firebolt.
Oh, yeah.
Bolt.
I was
Bolt.
like,
Yeah.
fireball.
Bolt.
Yeah, it's 20th level guy.
No,
I heard fireball.
Yeah.
Firebolt. You could do it until you pass out from exhaustion. You could burn down like every forest on the continent.
Every woodland creature. So, if you want to make a pyromaniac sort of wizard, Ted, you're totally welcome to make that character.
Again.
Oh yeah, Andrew Knapp, SR2 Joker, just showed me a video from one of their online games where he played Pyromancer that was basically scorched from head to toe and had no hands.
How is he doing his
I think they let him
gestures?
use Mage Hand to
Oh.
cast with,
Nice. That's,
but yeah, whatever. He has no hands, so.
so he's not lending anybody a hand. No. He has disadvantage for aid checks there, or health checks.
Something. He's disadvantaged probably on any kind of check using your manual dexterity.
Yeah.
But so wizards, 2nd level, they choose their school.
Wait, let's talk about the first level ability, Arcane Recovery. They get a sweet ass ability.
Oh yeah, I was
first
thinking
level.
2nd level, but yeah, it is 1st level.
Yeah, right out the gate, they get an awesome ability. I mean, it's the ability that sets them up to be a
Better
better
spellcaster than anybody.
than the sorcerer.
Yeah, way better than sorcerer.
Way better than the sorcerer. Yeah, like because you just the higher level you get, the more spell slots you're getting, and the more castery you're getting, and then you could drop some feat slots to get even more casting. Just the wizard is hands down, bar none, the best caster in the game. Like it's really what it comes down to.
Joe gets Arcane Recovery as well.
Yeah, well.
The second best
Second.
caster in the game.
Well, except for when you mix the two classes, then you're getting spell slots back like it's your job.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Twice a day, that
Yeah.
would be rather sick.
Yeah, that would be nasty. Does the druid get that at first level too?
No, they get it at 2nd
Okay.
when they choose their path.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But druid does get boned on their cantrips. They only get 2, and then if you go circle the wind, you get the 3rd.
Yeah. Well, then you take like magic initiate, so it gives you another spell in your back pocket.
Although if you guys have been reading their comments, there's a lot of people coming out to defend the sorcerer
Yeah.
and that extra cantrip
Yeah.
and the sorcery points.
Yeah, and the sorcery points. We're just saying they need a recharge. They just need a recharge on it.
Yeah.
But
Take a little
well,
rest, get some
although
stuff
my
back.
multi-class sorcerer, well, we're getting off topic, but my multi-class sorcerer druid, he can have with those 4th level and 5th level slots, he could have sorcerer points for days.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, because he's got so much to sack out. But anyway, I'm just marveling over the idea of a wizard druid because holy hell, the access to spellcasting you have in the day.
As long as you take 2 short rests.
Dude, in the course of an adventuring day, you totally have that to get in there. 2 hours of rest.
It's possible.
Can you double down on Arcane Recovery?
Right.
I'm gonna take 2. I'm gonna take the extended short rest.
Although I wonder if the whole rules thing, like
I have to see
duplicative
how- I have to see
abilities
the
might,
word.
duplicative abilities often don't stack. So you
Although I don't think they talk about that in multiclassing, the way they call out things like unarmored defense.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that bears research. But if you guys have any insights on that, on the double downing on the arcane recovery, please put that in the comments below.
So overall, the wizard is a great spellcasting class. I mean, you lose the number of sheer spells you can cast at the higher levels,
But the flexibility is.
but
insane.
you have the flexibility almost of the sorcerer from previous editions. With you have a huge prepared list that you just cast off of. You don't cross them out. They're embedded in your mind for the day. You switch them after a long rest if you want. Which is really cool. And then when you combine cantrips, arcane recovery, and ritual casting, the way I built my wizard was, I took like half spells that I would want to have prepared, and then the other half were ones that I just wanted I wanted my book to go. Okay, well, give me 10 minutes. I got this.
Right. So this way you can handle just about any situation. Do I need to comprehend languages? Do I need to identify a magic item? Do I need to detect magic? You just ready to go.
Like that's stuff that really you don't generally have to do in a round by round basis in combat.
Mm-hmm.
You generally, you're trying to figure out a puzzle, or figure out if something's magic or whatever. You generally have time.
Yeah, you're out of combat round sort of situation. Although it's a nice change of pace as the GM if you put things where like it would have worked out much better in the party's favor had the wizard been casting that spell to figure out some sort of riddle in the middle of combat.
Oh yeah.
So like you make the thing that would have like made it the encounter that much less deadly. But because they can't figure it out, they they're kind of catching their ass on it a little bit.
Yeah, and then it's revealed to them afterwards when they do decipher it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, all you needed to do was pull this lever over in the back corner.
That's one of those things that was like very much done in second edition. It kind of got out of flavor with third and fourth, with moving backwards with fifth edition, taking the better from the other editions. I think that's absolutely something that could be done. If you've got, it takes you a minute to cast the spell. All right, you guys have 10 rounds that you have to fight off while the wizard does this.
Well, yeah, why not?
That would be a nice dramatic encounter. You hear the epic music in the background.
Well, that's in fourth edition. I think was run the combat counter while you ran the skill challenge.
Okay, that's true.
I still don't I don't know. I think skills are they still around or are they gone?
I don't know if they're in the they're not. I mean, they're not in any of the books.
No,
you guys have been.
There's just
pouring
skills.
through the
From what I saw in the DMG, it's still just a skill check. It's not not a duration thing unless you really want to flavor it.
Although the traps are kind of built that way a little bit, which has nothing to do with wizards unless you're using a magic trap.
Right. Yeah. I was going to try to bring back the wizard somehow. Yeah.
So touching back on
Big Beast, get the F back on track. Yeah.
touching back on
Big Beast, get over here.
On the recovery, the druids got natural recovery. The wizards have arcane recovery.
Totally different.
So they are listed as different abilities. So multiclassing should work, but it is effective off of your druid level and your wizard level. So if you go one level of druid, one level, and then the rest wizard, you're only ever going to get a first level spell slot back from druid.
So it's not as awesome.
But if you go 50-50, it's just gonna
Well, it's still a spell slot though. A spell slot is a spell slot.
I mean, if you're just saying, well, I'm gonna dip into it for the extra stuff, it's getting the extra cantrips, getting the extra spells,
broadening your spell list.
She'll actually be 218, but whatever.
The shillelagh is really a nice cantrip for druid.
I don't know. I didn't take that one with my druid.
Well,
why when I can shock and grasp your ass?
If you're not a melee person, shillelagh is not really for you. But if you're gonna consider going into melee, it's fantastic.
All right.
But
Wizard, that's what shield's for.
That's what she'll do. Yeah.
So, do we have any opinions on favored school ability?
There's some that I was like, man, this is really awesome. And then I read the one line.
Some of them are super specific.
Yeah,
they don't come up that often.
Like the Abjuration, right? It sounds really awesome, but unless you're casting, shield and mage armor all the time,
An alarm.
an alarm, it's just not nearly as useful. Now what I was thinking, the Abjuration cleric. Now that would be kick-ass because there is a ton of abjuration spells from divine casters. So that would actually be a really good combination. You would be constantly recharging that puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, you can talk to Diviner and how awesome that is.
Oh yeah, Divination, Diviner is really fantastic. I play one for the luckiest half man alive, and just the portent ability, being able to choose. Basically, if you can view a die roll in the area, you can say, "Here, you can have this one," and it can be either good or bad. So.
Well,
I rolled like
you
a
get
10 and a 15. I'm like, well, a 10 probably wouldn't hit me, so
well,
move that.
yeah, you get three every day. You get to roll 3d20.
Well, you get 2 to start.
Oh, okay,
It
sorry.
goes up to 3.
You get two dice rolls that you can store and then change them out either on something you roll or something someone else rolls.
Yes.
So that's pretty hard. To
Well, and thematically, right? Here's like I kind of envision the diviner, after the long rest, breaking out his bones or his stones or the tea leaves or whatever you use.
Or tarot cards. Tarot deck.
Right.
For a gambler, that makes
drop,
no sense.
You drop your three D20s, and you'd be like, okay, two wheels and a woe today, I foresee.
Yeah.
And then you just put those in your pocket and hand them out like candy.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And you could you could totally do role play it up. Go to the fighter in the party and say, look, I foresee a combat where you might slip or you might miss. Do this today and blah blah blah. And if you play it up right, of course the fighter's going to be making the most attack rolls, so he misses one. But I'll take this one instead. Or you.
I thought you were going to hand him the bad roll. This fighter's really going to jerk him.
I foretold this trick in your future.
If you've got a bad roll that you got, you tell the party, it's like, look, we're gonna encounter something fierce today. I want you to be on your extra guard, so that when the DM actually rolls a good roll, give them this one, and hey,
but
because they were forewarned, they got out of the way.
The foe was actually a kobold, though, not that fierce. Not that fierce.
Yeah, so my diviner's more private about his foretelling. He's not like showy.
It's dependent on how much role playing you want to put in it, and I like shoving extra role playing and stuff. So.
Well, I'm shoving extra role playing by not shoving
Well,
portraits on people.
Well, the only problem with
I knew that was going to happen, but I'm not telling you.
The only problem with doing the important sort of thing is, you want to keep your options open.
Yeah.
And if you
that's why
specifically
I
call
left
out
it
the-
open-ended.
Yeah, to just go consult whatever augurs your character may have, and then you go, yeah, I told you this earlier in the day. And that, so you can retcon it, because the diviner's supposed to have an inkling of what's to happen, but nobody really knows what happens because there's the randomness.
Well, pick some safe things.
Yeah, I was.
You were pretty good and vague, but I would almost say just be like, no, we're gonna retcon it.
But what if you really needed the cleric to make a saving throw?
Versus the fighter swinging the thing.
Yeah.
It was like a save or die situation.
So there's this really cool ability to get later. I think it's at 6, where when you cast a divination spell, you can get a spell slot back of up to 1 level lower than the spell.
Wow.
So let's say you're fighting during the day and you're like, I'm going to scry out the next area. Well, scrying's 5th. You get a 4th level slot back if it's available, or a 3rd or a 1st or 2nd or 1st. But it's really impacting at later levels when the 9th level spell Foresight, and you get an 8th level spell slot back.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome because the diviner used to always be the weakest choice because they were not very offensive.
Because their specialization in spells
I very much at first I was looking at the invoker and or is it evoker and the abjurer, but then I realized the abjurer, I'm like, well, I'm never going to get this dude use the special ability because I'm not going to cast enough abjuration spells. Yeah, so I was like, well, that's not that great. But then I was looking at the diviner, and I was like, it just wasn't fitting my character.
Right.
With that,
Well, you're very, you're a fighter just as much as you are a
you're militant.
But you're a dwarf, and dwarfs are about stones. So you could have some kind of.
I totally think. I totally thought about the whole rune stones and that kind of aspect to it. I just didn't feel like it fit this character, and he also only has one eye, so it's like the Odin thing with rune stones.
Too much. He's got 2 ravens and a 6-legged horse.
Yeah, too close.
Too soon.
Fights with a spear.
And then there's a dark elf with 2 scimitars and a panther, and what the hell? All right, so enchanters are cool, but this enchanter, in the enchantment school, in this edition isn't that great because people are always aware that you're enchanting them, so that's problematic.
Yeah, I mean,
They know afterwards, so I'm going to enchant them, do the thing I need them to do, and then kill them because this way I don't have to deal with the repercussions. Apparently,
or you can be like the traveling salesman that's a ripoff artist.
That is
You know, like,
that is
good
one of the
shit.
things that,
Give me
that
money.
I'm not really happy about with the wording on a lot of these, essentially the mental spells. It always
They know
says
they've been mental.
that they know that this happened.
they know, and they get a saving throw every single round. So it's just like, all right, I'm really like playing my odds that this is going to work out for me.
So like I don't know. I think at least for my games, I think I'm just gonna like if you role play it well, like just let it go. They're not gonna know. I mean that's it's kind of not fair.
Especially when they get the saving throw round by round on top of all that.
It's one thing if they're confused. If
Yeah.
they're like, hey,
Yeah,
what just happened?
It's not
Yeah.
it's not second edition where it's like, oh, I cast Charm Person, and because they've got a 10 intelligence, I've got them for the next month and a half.
And then I opened a brothel, which just happened in one of our games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, at low level, charm was really powerful because
Right.
of what you could do to just a regular townsperson.
Right. But I think somewhere in the middle is a better call.
Like, or even like to give the enchanter like that nice little bump of people aren't aware of you doing it because you're an expert at doing this. Yeah, like the enchanter, no, he doesn't
At least
get
give
that.
him the ability sometime.
Yeah,
If it's
yeah.
too powerful for a low level
Yeah.
character,
Give it to him a second.
Or well, I mean, no, it could be like an
I was
ability that,
thinking maybe 10th.
or an ability that recharges after a short rest or whatever, or so this way they can only do it maybe a couple of times a day, really.
That's
Yeah.
that's
But
a good point.
that's
Yeah.
I don't think it's really game breaking to go, especially for whether you just want to make it everyone or the enchanter be like, like what does it really change? So you don't have to worry about them coming back at you later because you used enchantment on them. So what?
I was looking at Conjuration, and for those of you who know my wizarding preferences, Acid Arrow is always one of my favorites for some reason. But their second level ability, you can just create an object of any natural material. It glows as magic, and it lasts for an hour, and it disappears.
So if you need a crowbar
Or a ladder?
Yeah, or a ladder.
But I mean, so you get the ability to just be like, all right, I need some kind of object right here, right now, and poof, there it is.
He's a really nice
A
problem
very
solver.
short ladder because it can be no longer than 3 feet long.
Collapsible.
Step stool.
A step stool. Yeah.
Liam's tiny step stool.
I really need to get that jar off the top shelf, and I don't want
Dude,
to
for a halfling,
myself.
for a halfling.
But at the same time, you can just be like, all right, poof, I conjure into being this magic item. And similar to, the other things, you could just be like, yes, I've got this magic item here for sale, and then you leave town. An hour later, it disappears.
Yeah, if you're
So
a charlatan.
So you've got someone who, wants to be a charlatan. That's, a
That's a good way to go.
very, very neat idea.
This fine magical shish kebab set.
Yeah, that's right.
It
Well,
glows.
make short swords. They're 3 foot long or less.
There you go. Short sword.
Just not making great swords with it.
Magic stools.
Yeah. So short swords or so great swords.
Not so great swords.
Yeah.
Not so great.
So my invoker, right? And I guess we gave whatchamacallit, the sorcerer, a lot of flack over the fact that the invoker kind of gets to do one of their
Abilities better at second level.
It's not really better because you can only do it with evocation spells.
Yeah.
Where I believe the sorcerer ability
You
allows
can do
you
it to any.
with any spell,
But you're still going to take damage.
but you're still going to take damage. Yeah, it's a save for with them. It's a save for half, or you make your save automatic. What this is, you can just say, yeah, my fireball doesn't hit that one square right there where the fighter's.
Happens to be.
Yeah, or if he's pissed you off, you make it the one squares next, all the squares next to him.
But I mean,
Just so you,
error.
but
just
that
so he
level by
knows that
fireball, you can choose to not hit 4 people.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean.
and to not deal damage. Whereas like the sorcerer goes, oh, all those, you guys are going to take less damage. Thanks, guy.
Are you talking about the
And I spent extra points on
sculpt
this.
sculpting?
Sculpt spells.
Well, it says, it's only on ones that they would take no damage. So, I mean, if you have fireballs are still going to take half.
Should read it again, I think.
That's what it says. The chosen
Oh yeah,
creatures-
automatically succeed, and
They
they
automatically
take no
succeed on-
damage. They would normally take half damage.
They automatically succeed, and they take no
okay.
if they would take half. So fireball, you would take half, so you take.
Yeah, it's kind of really weird wording.
Sorry, that's my apologies.
That's okay.
We'll kill you for it later.
I just don't want to get yelled at by the
internet
follower.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
people are gonna yell at us anyway.
Yeah. So my point is that, for that fireball, you can like make all those zones around the fighter safe zones.
Dude, the potent
Teach
cantrip's
them a
pretty
lesson.
nice too, because there's like those cantrips that like usually it's no damage on the save. They're taking half damage anyway.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and because of the scalability of
Is
the
it on the
cantrips.
Evo though?
No, it just says you're
Yeah,
damaging
that's-
cantrips. Damaging cantrips even affects creatures that avoid the
Yeah.
running effect. I think
Acid splash, baby.
yeah, acid splash for days, just bubbling flesh.
And I'm not one that normally likes illusions, but at 6th level, the malleable illusions, I think that's pretty cool.
Dude, I like the second level ability for illusionist. Actually, I did make a gnome illusionist. Minor illusion is a cantrip. If you don't have it, you get it. If you do have it, you get to pick a new one. But with minor illusion, you either get to do the visual or the audio. For the illusionist, he gets both as a cantrip at will. That's kind of nice.
It's pretty powerful, yeah. Because you're basically running distraction and diversion.
I can
all
make
the
a
time.
bird, or I can make a bird chirp, but not if I'm illusionist. I can make a chirping bird.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
that's pretty awesome. So what? You get like the illusionary doubles of yourself. That's pretty handy. It's these are all nice. What is it?
I looked at illusion too, but I didn't see my dwarf as an illusionist.
Yeah,
at all.
he certainly
No.
doesn't seem to think that way. Necromancy, now that's where you really should have gone.
I looked at it. You never know.
Dude,
Who's angry about that?
yeah, Grim Harvest is cool, except for the have to kill condition. Like, it's got two conditions on it. It has to be necromancy, and you have to kill the person. So, like...
You're like, yo, you hold him, I hit
No,
him.
you get more if it's necromancy.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true.
You get an extra hit point a level.
Yeah.
But then again, chill touch, man, at will, right?
Chill touch as well? Do they? No? Well...
Chill
Oh,
touch
you mean as a cantrip?
is a cantrip.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but, like, how often are you going to land a killing blow? Yeah. It's
Well,
like
you're gonna have to bitch slap him to death with chill touch.
Yeah.
You get the barbarian to rage hold them.
Yeah.
And like, look, I need the hit points.
Well, really what you do is you tell the party, no, you guys go ahead along before me or whatever, and then you go and murder the village, get your wounded, and for some reason you come back very refreshed.
Here, I thought you were going to do a little bit, less grim. It's like, I'm going to go murder wildlife. No, he's talking about murdering the town.
Village,
It
yeah.
says Grim Harvest.
Hey, chaotic evil means never having to say you're sorry, as the T-shirt says. So,
Sadly, it doesn't work with cantrips.
it does not work.
First
in
level or
cantrips.
higher.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
curses.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh, I went through my first and seconds, and I feel fresh as a daisy. Yeah, that would be pretty fun with Grim, my red necromancer. Or no,
So-
Brimstone. Yeah. But yeah, so you get the undead thrall, which is kind of like basically this necromancer gets to feel a little more necromancy than like earlier editions because it took you forever to get freaking enemy dead. So at least you can come into that like 6th level.
Well, this edition does have my favorite necromancy spell.
What is it, Finger of Death?
Finger of Death is so rocks. If you kill it with Finger of Death, it gets resurrected as a zombie and under your control. That is amazing.
Resurrected or animated? I don't
Yeah,
think resurrected
whatever.
is quite the word we would use.
My necromancer says, "Look, I resurrected you."
Does he walk around with like wearing white robes, long hair, a beard, maybe like a red sash about him? He's got like maybe 13
Love
apostles.
me, love me.
And-
Yeah, but they're all zombies.
yeah. Oh, sacrilegious. Yeah, that's great.
Feel free to send the hate comments to Ryan.
Now, we didn't finish off Conjurer and what they've got. Later, they're kind of spiffy. They've got Focused Conjuration. You can concentrate on a Conjuration spell and it can't be broken as a result of taking damage. They get that at 10. That's sweet. Because Conjuration is Conjuration. You're going to conjure up something. And then you're like, oh no, I lost control of it. I'm dead. I wasted my spell level and I'm getting attacked. So, the people you're summoning need to be in the way of you taking more damage anyway.
So it doesn't mean what's the wording? You automatically pass, or
While you're concentrating on a Conjuration spell, your Conjuration can't be broken as a result of taking damage.
nice.
Well, what about the 6th level ability of teleporting? You can a space. You can use your action to a space 30 feet away that you just teleport to, or if you've got an ally that is in bad shape, you could switch spaces with them.
I was thinking more of that the guy that charges all the way around the fighters and everything to get to you, and you're like, no, you get to fight the fighter, really.
Yeah. Meet my friend
But
the
yes,
barbarian.
you could
Okay.
take the hit for the team if you wanted to.
Well, again, being used to playing clerics, I'm used to.
Yeah, so
the
cleric
sacrificial.
/ conjurer wizard of 6th level, definitely. I would see him doing that.
So I mean, there's plenty of options that you can actually do with that. And then the fact that 14th level, any creature that you summon or create with a conjuration spell has 30 temporary hit points.
Yep.
An extra hit or two
Score.
at high levels.
Yeah, several extra hit dice worth of power there.
So, I lost my train of thought. Conjurers, huh?
Yeah,
So-
they're sweeter than just the, hey, you get to make
So-
cool magical, not magical stuff.
I was looking over the transmuter because I actually haven't really given it much of a read through. The transmuter is awesome because they gave it a super weak 2nd level ability because
That
the
sounds
6th
really awesome.
well, because the 6th and the 14th level abilities are freaking sweet. So you can spend 8 hours making a transmuter stone that has a variety of different functions you can use, and you can give it to different party members to gain the benefits of it. But let's see, dark vision. You can get dark vision now to a range of 60 feet on the stone, or increase the speed while the creature is unencumbered by 10 feet, so you make them that much faster. Or proficiency in con saves. So you just gave yourself another saving throw bonus, like another saving throw bomb, or resistance to any of the given energy types. So that is
do you choose when you make it?
Yeah, I believe
You
you choose.
choose when you make it.
Yeah,
this,
you do.
this is the thing that makes it not stink. When you cast a transmutation spell, a 1st level or higher, you get to switch the ability that it has, which makes it very much higher usability than.
There's even just the last 2 abilities, the con saves or the resistance. Because the con saves as a caster, you can always because you're gonna have a decent con. You usually want hit points. So and then to have the proficiency in it. So just for yourself to have another good save, and then you take the feat to also give you proficiency in another save. The wizard can have proficiency in 4 saving throws, being a transmuter.
That's pretty handy.
There's only 2 that you're not proficient in. That's pretty fantastic. So yeah.
And the
awesome.
resistance to the energy types.
Yeah,
Especially
I mean that's
if you know you're going to fight an evil pyromancer,
right,
or a red dragon,
a red dragon, blue dragon, whatever.
Yeah.
You're ready to go.
And if something comes up, just cast a transmutation spell on the fly, and then you switch it to whatever you need it to do. We're fighting giant scorpions. I'm going to get a con save.
Is Featherfall, or isn't that like a reaction transmutation spell? Or is that
It might be your reaction, but it might be specific to
the circumstances that trigger it?
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking oh crap, a red dragon's breathing fire. Featherfall, change the transmutation stone. I have resistance to fire.
Well, one of the cool things about, there's other
I'll check it out.
reactionary spells, but one of the cool things about Featherfall now, it doesn't have to be you falling.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because it used to be just you.
Yeah,
Sorry about you guys.
the barbarian's falling, Featherfall.
Yeah. That makes it definitely better because it is a super situational spell. Can you ritual cast that one?
Featherfall, no.
No.
It is a
It's
transmutation, and it does say 1 reaction when you are a creature within 60 feet of you falls.
Oh.
Just says falls.
So you push somebody.
Like a red dragon.
So you could decide to
Face
say,
plant?
I'm gonna fall over and do that.
I don't know if I would allow that one as the DM.
Yeah.
That's pretty weak.
Although feather falling away from the red dragon is not a bad tack when you see it.
Oh yeah, there's a mountain, you just jump
I'm
off.
just all right, this is gonna go better for me than the rest of you guys. See ya.
And I have resistance to fire as I go down.
Yeah, and is that one of the spells that you can pump to target additional creatures? Because I would think.
I don't think so.
Sorry to send you back.
Yeah.
Because situationally, all right, guys, let's just jump.
I got a spell for this.
Yeah, there's an app for that. Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Not
All right.
Bumble.
But you tell them I think I can make this affect all of you.
for when you feel like playing that evil wizard.
Yeah, you're like, well, think of the XP. Come on, do you want the dragon to get all of the XP?
All right, so you guys all land at the bottom of the mountain.
And Ryan's
The
character
rest
gets
of
5
you,
levels.
the rest of you take this.
The wizard floats down.
Ryan, when you land, you see your companions, dead and their heaps of body. Feel free to pillage their corpses and run like that.
Well, no, and then the dragon's like, I like your style. Can we form an alliance? That's really what it comes down to. Like, the dragon's like, wow, I don't even have that level of dickishness. My hat's off to you, sir. Let's work together. Yeah, I think that's how that scenario would really go.
Now, fly, the 3rd level transmutation spell, you can bump
Affect.
it up and affect multiple people as you bump it up.
What fun is
Let's
that?
start at 3rd level though. So.
Yeah, I mean, while you're Red Dragon, hopefully your DM didn't want to just totally kill the
No, 5th level. Everybody's like,
5th level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so.
good.
But transmutation spell, again, you can cast fly, change your stone to whatever you want for that. So overall, good escape player.
well, yeah,
Change
absolutely.
Change it to dark vision so that the fighter that you gave it to loses the fire resistance.
Well, especially too though, when you do the thing that gives you, what's the when you get to 18th level, when you get to drop spells like at will, like lower level spells.
Mhm.
18th you get first and second.
So you choose transmutation spells, so you can change the stone like indefinitely.
And you
pick-
can, well, you
pick
can
a
change
transmutation.
those out too after a long rest.
Oh, okay, wow. So yeah, that would really work out.
I
So
did not know that.
yeah, and
I
then
thought you stuck with it forever.
No, you can spend 8 hours to
change it out.
change the spells that you can cast.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
So then you go to the Master Transmuter. You can basically expend the stone that you created for the day to do things like restore life or restore youth. Like you can reverse people's age, minimum age of 13. You can basically transmute any material to any other less expensive material, which isn't that great. But Panacea, you can cure any diseases or poisons and restore all hit points. Like, so, I mean, it's super useful to be making stones. all the
Now, out of many higher level abilities that I see, that's like one that I'd be waiting for. Like, that's a worth waiting for kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
ability. Where you're like, yeah, it's cool that my things get extra hit points, but it's not like a game changer for your character. But I'd say being able to raise dead with a rock is pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you
can
won't
only
be able
have
to use.
one of these stones.
Yeah, you
going
only
at
have
a
one of
time.
the stones going.
But the fact that you can,
It does a lot.
Use it for so many different purposes. I've kind of never considered making a transmuter, but I mean, this is something that's like,
Oh,
wow, you can.
And
really-
a 10th, you get a
You
shape
get
changer
polymorph,
benefit.
yeah.
Yeah, you get polymorph.
And not only do you get polymorph, it adds it to your spellbook if you don't already have it. You can use it once a day without it using up a spell slot, and you can transform into a beast of CR1, very similar to a druid.
well, except for it allows for beasts, not just not just animals, right? That's
No, beast
Because
is
beast-
animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, beast counts as. Yeah.
And then you don't have the, and then this feature you can use again tomorrow, but polymorph is still in your spellbook, so
Yes,
you can
still
cast
cast it
again.
as a 5th level spell. Yeah.
So it's pretty sweet.
It's 5th level spell? I don't remember.
I don't know what it is, and I have not memorized all the spells yet.
Yeah, it's quite a lot to take in.
Well, you don't have to prepare it, really. They're in your
Yeah.
spellbook. You don't have to prepare it to cast it well. It's kind of the thing. So yeah, all in all, the wizard is awesome. And then their 20th level ability is getting that
Getting the 3rd level. slot.
getting that 3rd level that they can pretty much cast at will.
Fireball.
Yeah. So
Counter spell. It's
That's a
3rd
good
level.
one. That's a good
No,
one.
it's
I
actually
mean-
a 4th level spell, so you get it a little later than you would normally get.
what is counterspell? What is,
Counter
You're getting it as
One
a,
that you
a
can just-
special.
yeah, I know it costs 2 blue and you just
No.
But
It's a reaction spell, and basically,
I'm looking for the school.
all right, you remember counter spell from
Yeah, no, I
Third
mean
edition.
my main question is the school it is
Oh,
because Abjuration, because that thing with the Abjuration spells
Yeah.
to always have a counter spell in your back pocket that you're then getting
well
the
shield as
Abjuration.
well. I believe.
Yeah, but so you're always getting the benefit of that.
So Abjuration would be a decent a spell to use to bump
So-
that.
A high level Abjurer can be shutting people down left and right and getting a bump for it.
The only thing that sucks is you have to go through those other 19
Yeah,
levels to get there.
Right. But someday I will be an Archmage. You hear me? So
Someday my abjurations will be the stuff of legend.
someday they will be so abjured.
Might not, because they call it a spell knot or something, or a spell ward.
Yeah, I will the abjurer. You will be abjured by the wind.
So can we close the book on Wizards?
I think so. I think we've covered them fairly well.
Our quill runs dry.
So you guys watching from wherever you're watching, you can like, comment, subscribe, and even share. Let us know what you think.
Check us out on Facebook.
Or on nerdarchy.com.
Or you can check us out on Twitter or our new subreddit, Nerdarchy How to Stay Nerdy.
So until next time, my friends,
Stay nerdy.